Let's start over. Welcome to the second half of this. Let's start over doing all of number 7 together. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our triangle in the third quadrant. And that's between 180 and 270. So I'm going to put my u right in there. My cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And if I use Pythagoras, I'm going to come up with a plus or minus 3. We're going to use the minus version of that because we're going down in the third quadrant. Then let's find some of these values here. The sine of u would be the opposite over the hypotenuse, so that's negative 3/5. The tangent is the opposite over the adjacent, which gives me negative 3 over negative 4, which is positive 3/4. Now we're going to use the formula to find the sine of 2u. Well, if I go to my identity sheet, the double angle formula, it says that the sine of 2u is equal to 2 times the sine of u times the cosine of u. We know both of the sine and cosine, so I'm going to plug them in. I get 2 times negative 3/5 times the cosine, which is negative 4/5. Multiply that all out, I get 24/25. We're going to do the tangent formula of 2u. If I go to my double angle formulas, I know that the tan is going to be, formula is 2 times the tangent, which is 3/4, we just have that up here, divided by 1 minus the tangent squared. Simplify, I get 3/2 divided by 1 minus 9/16. If I write my 1 as 16/16, I get 3/2 over 16 minus 9 is 7/16, which is the same as 3/2 times 16 over 7. Simplify, I get 24/7. The cosecant of 2u, we don't have a formula for that, but I do know that the cosecant of 2u is the same as 1 over the cosine, or 1 over the sine of 2u, and we have that, so 1 over 24/25, or 25/24. Let's go to the half angle formula for the tangent. The half angle formula says that the tan of u over 2 is equal to the sine of u and divided by 1 plus the cosine of u. Well, we know those values, so let's plug in. I get negative 3/5 on top, 1 plus the cosine, which is negative 4/5. So I get negative 3/5, and I'm going to replace 1 with 5/5 again. 5/5 minus 4/5 is 1/5. And that's the same as negative 3/5 times 5 over 1, or negative 3. Let's do number 8 now. If I minus 1 from both sides, I get 4 sine squared x equals 3. Divide by 4, divide by 4. I get the sine squared x equals 3/4. If I square root both sides, I get that the sine of x is equal to plus or minus, because anytime you square root in an equation, you get plus or minus, the square root of 3 over 2. If I go to my unit circle and look where the sine is equal to plus or minus, I should be getting 8 answers here. And I get pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, and 5 pi over 3. 5 pi over 3. Let's take a look at question number 9. We have a double angle formula here, and if I go to my sheet, I know that there are 3 different ones. I'm going to pick the one that has all cosine in it. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2 cosine squared x minus 1 equals the cosine of x. Rewriting that, I get 2 cosine squared minus the cosine x minus 1 equals 0. Factor it. I get 2 cosine and the cosine. And because I want it to be a negative cosine in the middle, I'm going to go with a negative 1 there and a plus there. If I check it, I get outside outside gives me negative 2 cosine, inside inside gives me positive 1. That adds up to negative 1. So in my two cases here, I have that the cosine of x is equal to, move this to the other side, divide by 2, negative 1/2. And move that to the other side. My other case is where the cosine is equal to 1. If I look on my unit circle, I get the cosine is equal to negative 1/2 at 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. And the cosine is equal to 1 at 0. Our last question today, we're going to take a look at this and solve it. First thing I'm going to do is subtract 3 tan x from both sides. And I get 1 tan x minus 7 equals negative 6. Adding 7 to both sides, I get the tan of x is equal to 1. Looking on my unit circle, notice it says all here. So I'm going to write my answer as if it's all. And I'm going to say it happens at pi over 4, and it's going to happen every pi after that, which would include the 5 pi over 4, which is on our unit circle, but this includes that, so I don't need to write that separately. All right, good luck.